is the WrestleBread Podcast, bringing you the latest news, recaps, and analysis of AEW and WWE. Get the unique perspective from a wrestling fan of over 25 years. Here's your host, Jaydee.
What's going on, guys? This is Jaydee here, and this is episode 65 of the WrestleBread Podcast. So, I am releasing this episode the day of NXT Takeover. Only reason because I wanted to check out SmackDown and see if there were any updates to SummerSlam as well. And plus I wanted to get a look at WWE Thunderdome. And first reaction is it's a cool concept. But it doesn't really seem like the fans are able to really react to stuff like that. They're not as animated, quote unquote, as the wrestlers that were in the crowd was. And then they're piping in the crowd sound. It makes me feel like I'm playing like NBA 2K or something like that, where it's just like the basic crowd sound. So I don't know, maybe it has to grow on me, especially the fact that we have been used to the Performance Center and, the NXT Performance Center workers being able to react loudly and bang on the barriers and everything. So it'll take a little bit to get used to. And from what I heard that you have to sign up in order to be on the screen. And I don't know, it looks cool, I have to say. The new setup and the entrances with the lasers and the smoke and everything, they're able to do a lot more now than they were able to do in the Performance Center. But I don't know. It's still something I have to get used to. I don't know. It's just the fact that even though there are fans on the screens and things like that, and it looks like they're in a virtual stadium, it's just the fact that you need the sound. Of course, NBA is doing the same thing, but NBA, the crowd noise definitely helps, but it's not as needed as it is with wrestling, because you have people cutting promos, you have people, the storytelling in the ring and everything, so you need a crowd to kind of react to things like that. So, I did watch when Sonya Deville cut a promo, and I don't know, even though she cut a really good promo, the crowd noise, because it's not organic like it would be in front of a live crowd, it could have been a lot more than what we've seen on TV. So going into what happened this week, with the last NXT Live before TakeOver, Johnny Gargano took a very nasty bump in his match. I heard that he took a nasty bump, but of course it looked a lot worse than what was reported. So I'm hoping that he will be 100% going into NXT TakeOver, but we'll see. And also, Pat McAfee can talk. I didn't really expect him. I mean, I knew he's a talker because, of course, he does, reaction shows and things like that. But I really didn't expect him to cut such a passionate promo to really talk shit about, WWE fans and the Undisputed Era. I just feel like I'm watching WrestleMania 11 all over again with Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow. As Pat McAfee brought up his little backup, which, I would think because he was on the Colts, he could have got, some actual more name-worthy, not saying that the people that he brought wasn't name-worthy, but, I mean, if he was such a big thing, I would have been impressed if he brought in Andrew Luck. I've been very impressed, but, he brought his backup. I actually forgot who he brought in, but I knew that he brought in some football names, and I really should know who he brought in because I am a football fan, and some of the names that he brought, I heard of and remember, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. But coming into NXT Takeover this week. Let me give some predictions since there's nothing to add as far as that. So first up, we have Legado del Fantasma versus Breezango versus Oney, Lorcan, and Danny Burch. Number one contender match for the NXT Tag Team Championship. So I would like for Legado to win and challenge against Imperium. I think that would be a very interesting match. But I'm actually going to go with Lorcan and Burch here. Because it seems like the feud with Legado and Breezango is what's paramount here. And I think that they're going to cancel each other out, and that's who's going to win. Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee. Now, with that promo that Pat McAfee cut on NXT, I fully expect Adam Cole to kick his ass. Like, he's sitting here saying he only has a short amount of time to train and things like that. So, if Pat McAfee come out looking impressive, I will be shocked. Like, I really don't expect him to be as... I'm gonna go for a stretch here, but... And I know I'm keep comparing to WrestleMania 11, but with WrestleMania 11, Lawrence Taylor had a little bit more time to prepare himself. And plus, not to knock Bam Bam Bigelow, but he was going against Bam Bam Bigelow. Even though Bam Bam Bigelow does have some high-flying moves, Bam Bam Bigelow is very grounded. So he didn't have to... Lawrence Taylor didn't really have to do too much, athleticism as far as wrestling goes. But Pat McAfee, I mean, we got Adam Cole here. Adam Cole is one of the most successful NXT champions in NXT. So I really don't expect Pat McAfee to win here. I will be very shocked and a little upset if Pat McAfee wins. But I expect Adam Cole to just kick his ass. Maybe Pat McAfee gets a little bit of help and that's how he can get some type of offense. Or maybe just a little bit of offense because they're trying to put over the fact that he's a punter and so he kicks really hard. Okay, whatever. But I expect Adam Cole to immediately, kick his ass. Sorry to say. But I don't really expect... And I expect Undisputed Era to get involved. And whatever backup Pat McAfee brings, I expect them to try to stop them as well. But, I don't know. Even though Lawrence Taylor did win in the WrestleMania 11, I think in these times, I know that more likely Pat McAfee may win, but I really don't expect him to win. So next up, we have the NXT Women's Championship, Io Shirai versus Dakota Kai. I'm going to go with my girl, Io Shirai. Even though I think with Dakota Kai being reunited with, I think her name is Raquel. I think her name is Raquel Gonzalez. Even though Dakota Kai is now reunited with her, I think that, of course, she's going to try to help her win. And I think that Dakota Kai will get really close. But I feel like Dakota Kai is eventually going to go back to feuding with Tegan Nox, I have to say. But, or maybe move on to somebody else. But I really feel like Io Shirai is going to retain her title because she's that chick. Sorry to say. Maybe we're leading to Io Shirai versus Mia Yim or somebody else. But I think that Io Shirai is going to continue her title reign. After that, we have the ladder match for the NXT North American Championship. Bronson Reed versus Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano versus Cameron Grimes versus Velveteen Dream, which there is so much backlash at the fact that this man returns after being, out and having accusations of him sending dick pics to minors, that he comes back and then immediately gets a title shot. And a lot of people said that they're going to boycott NXT and they're going to start watching AEW. Well, AEW has, their wrestlers have problems too. So I'm not going to sit here and act like, AEW is such an angel. And let's not act like WWE doesn't have a lot of damn problems before. People tend to forget that this is the same company where Triple H cut a very, very interesting promo to Booker T that was, if you never saw it, go check it out. And then when Vince McMahon said the N-word on live TV. So, same company, even though it happened years ago, same shit, different year. So, am I surprised that Velveteen got a title shot like this? Not really, because, a lot of wrestling can be backwards, as we saw with the whole speaking out. I mean, look how many wrestlers we found out are assholes. So yeah, a lot of them got let go. Some of them, kind of got swept under the rug, but that's what we are dealing with. And they said that they did their own investigation. That's what Triple H said, and they didn't find anything. But they didn't apparently they didn't contact the accuser. And I don't know. The whole thing, not really like, of course I'm not going to go for Velveteen Dream to win the match. And I don't know, Velveteen Dream, the way he was acting on NXT Live this past week, it was very weird and it was a bit uncomfortable. So, I don't know how his mental state is, because he was on top of his game. He was very popular with the fans. And then the accusations come out and, we all just pretty much saying, fuck you. So I don't know if that's fucking with his mental brain. That's why he's acting weird like this. Because he is still considerably young. But I don't know. I'm going to go for this match. I feel... At first, I was questioning the people who were going into the match. For example, Cameron Grimes. Mainly Cameron Grimes, I have to say. But looking at this match, I think this is going to be a good match. Because we have Johnny Gargano, who will do the high-flying spots. We have Velveteen Dream, who will do high-flying spots as well. Bronson Reed, who will be the big man with the power. So is Damian Priest. And then, Cameron Grimes, I'm not quite sure how he's going to be in this ladder match. So this is going to be his chance to shine. I'm going to go with Damian Priest. I think it is his time to go, even though it could easily go to Cameron Grimes or even Bronson Reed, because Bronson Reed has been doing very well leading up to this match. But I'm going to go with Damian Priest. Here. Let's see. And then we got Keith Lee versus Karrion Kross. Now, I am excited to see this match. I'm very interested to see where Scarlett lies with this match, if she's going to try to interfere or something like that. But I believe that Karrion Kross will definitely use his strength. Now, this is one of those situations where it is a lose-lose battle, because whenever, and this is something that AEW does too, that they debut somebody and they make them so strong, and then suddenly they get a title shot. I mean, Karrion Kross has been in NXT for about, a month or two now, I think. Maybe 3 tops, but it hasn't been that long for him to get this title shot so quickly. So it's a lose-lose situation, because he is so strong that it's too soon for him to lose this match, because it will definitely lose his momentum and the whole magic. And, especially, I can't wait to see his entrance. If they're using the Thunderdome, the Amway Center, I think it's called. If they're using that with the extravaganza and everything like that, I can't wait to see Karrion Kross's entrance. It's going to be fucking bomb. I want Keith Lee to retain the title, because he hasn't had that many big matches with his title. but it's too soon for Karrion Kross to lose. So I'm going to go on a limb. I'm just going to go on a limb. If I'm wrong, I hope it makes sense. So I'm going to go with Karrion Kross here. I'm going to say that maybe something happened. Scarlett maybe get involved or something. And I know that NXT is not going to do like a double count out or a DQ or something stupid like that because they don't want either man to lose. But I'm going to go with Karrion Kross here to win the title some way and then let this continue on as a feud between both men. That's how I'm going to go. So going into a little bit of news after that, we have Renee Young. She is leaving WWE after SummerSlam. I didn't get to see where she is going to go, but I'm not exactly surprised seeing as though her husband is the champion of a rival company. So, her Fox show got canceled too. So, it's really not much that she can really hold on to. I believe that she wanted to leave before, and then they offered her the Fox show. But now that the Fox show has been canceled, I definitely see her doing a hell of a lot more. I mean, she is so talented. She can definitely go to ESPN. She can go to NFL Network. She can go to AEW. The possibilities of what she can do is limitless. Hell, because we're in the middle of the pandemic, she can start her own show, and it could get picked up somewhere. So, and then, going into, first of all, the craziest story, with Sonya Deville and the break-in. So, what happened, this was yesterday, was the bail hearing for what's his name? Philip Thomas II. I really shouldn't have said his name, but to not give him attention. But it was more details that came out about this break-in, which is fucking crazy. So come to find out, he has been messaging her for a while, and he sent hundreds of messages through social media. And unfortunately, it's been landing in her spam folder, so she hasn't been seeing it. And he's been sending threats to her family, saying that, I think I read that he was going to he's going to deliver the heads of her parents to her doorstep and kill her sisters. And then he sent her a message right before the break-in saying, "Hey baby, look outside, I'm by your pool." He was denied bail. His defender initially wanted to set the bail for $2 million and then put a GPS on him, which is no. I mean, I read that this guy traveled 450 miles from South Carolina to her home and had a knife, the rope, and the pepper spray. And some people are saying maybe there's something mentally wrong with him or something like that. But still, I get mental illness. Trust me, I get mental illness. But this kid traveled 450 miles to her. And I think like stuff like this, we need to have some type of protocol or something like that. There needs to be something in place to protect people from someone who's suffering from mental illness like this. Because it could have definitely went bad. And then to find out when her alarm went off, she went to the glass door that set off the alarm. And she said he was standing right there staring at her, which would have freaked me the fuck out. Obviously she was such in a panic. She said that, she saw him. He was there in all black clothing with the corona mask on, and he just starts walking towards her. And you see, they showed the surveillance video in her house, and you see her run off, which, according to the report, she ran to her friend's car, which she couldn't start because she was such in a panic. She had her foot on the brake. And she was able to get out of there. And a lot of people are saying, no, of course she could have probably kicked his ass, stuff like that. But the point is, you don't know what could happen with things like that. Like I said, he had a pepper spray. He was prepared for her. And it's no telling what could have happened, especially with him being in such of a rage. Like, we don't know what could have happened. Yeah, she could kick his ass, but he was prepared for her. He was prepared for her. And thank the Lord that she was able to get out of there, her and her friend, unharmed. I'm hoping that justice will definitely be served to this guy. It seems like it will be, seeing as though his bail was denied. And the judge feels like he is a definite threat to the society and to the community. And according to the sheriff's office, he was planning the abduction 8 months ago. So this is, of course, premeditated. The fact that he didn't stop. I mean, apparently he was sending threatening messages way before then. So and like I said, if on the Twitter that he was retweeting and messaging everything that had to do with Sonya Deville. So if you would think that he was like an overzealous fan who was in love with her, but he was sending threatening messages to kill her sisters and things like that. So yeah, mental illness there, but definitely premeditated. The fact that he was preparing for this abduction for 8 months. It's some scary shit. Going into SmackDown, we start off with Vinnie Mac in the ring, talking about Thunderdome. And then, not too long after that, the lights go down, out comes The Fiend. And I'm like, okay, well, here comes the spot, that Vince gives to people from time to time of them attacking, Vince letting people attack him and, kind of put them over. So you see The Fiend comes down to the ring. He's standing in the middle of the ring. Vince McMahon tries to walk away and The Fiend wasn't letting him. Braun Strowman comes out and Vince McMahon, of course, gets out of the ring. Braun Strowman and The Fiend are, staring each other down in the ring, and then out comes Retribution. A lot more people this time. There were some taller people in there. I'm not quite sure the long-term goal with Retribution. Who's the leader, whatever. Why are we doing Retribution? And just like the commentators are saying, how were they able to get inside the building? How were they able to get outside the building? I mean, for all these storylines where we have the fake cops and whatever, standing around waiting to arrest someone, it would make sense storyline wise for WWE to kind of go down that road of having some type of security, especially the fact that Vince McMahon was out there. Vince McMahon was out there. That means apparently Retribution was able to kind of walk past by him instead of just going at. I mean, that would have been the spot. Instead of going after Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt, you had the chairman, you had the big guy, you got Vinnie Mac in the ring. Unless the story is that Vince McMahon is the one who's doing it, just like he was doing with NWO during the invasion. Who remembers that promo that he cut about poisoning his own company? So, Retribution is around the ring, and The Fiend gives Braun Strowman a nod. Braun Strowman nods, and I'm like, y'all gonna take out these little kids or something? But then The Fiend raises up his hand. I thought he was gonna do the hand to his ear thing that he likes to do, and he waves by. The lights go off, the lights come back on, and The Fiend, peace the fuck out there. I mean, he might as well have said, deuces, bitch, you're on your own. And that's what happened. The, Braun Strowman was by himself with Retribution. Like I said, it was at least two tall guys in there now. So it's not like we're dealing with the middle school kids, the small. I mean, I know that it may be mean for me to come at their height, but if you're going to be, ski mask and all this aggressive for people to be afraid of you, you got to put some height on you, dude. Some height or some weight. I really shouldn't feel like I could be in Retribution, and I'm only 5'6". It would make sense for bigger people, taller people to be in there, so it's more menacing, a little bit more bass in the voice type of situation. But yeah, they started attacking Braun Strowman, and as much as they love to push the fact that Braun Strowman is so strong, he could lift up, vans, he can, pull trucks, he can flip an ambulance if he wanted to, but he cowered in a fetal position when it came to Retribution. No power out, oh, I'm not done with you type of situation. Then comes out the SmackDown locker room to save the day. Braun Strowman was still on the ground. So, I don't know how that really benefits your champion there, for as much as they love to show him being powerful and doing all this stuff, that he was, in a fetal position at the end of the day. Seems like we got some Lucha House Party problems. They were facing, oh gosh, who were they facing? They were facing Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro for the tag team championship, which with the whole lasers and things like that, Nakamura and Cesaro's entrances was like 20 times better. Lucha Party lost the match, and it seemed a little bit of some problems between and within the group, which a part of me is like, finally, we get something with the Lucha House Party, especially after that Elimination Chamber match. But it's still it seems like they're going to break up another tag team, which we really don't need on the main roster right now. Sonya Deville then comes and cuts a very passionate promo. You can obviously see that she is using her frustration and her anger from everything that's going on in her personal life to cut this promo. Very good promo from Sonya Deville. I definitely felt it. Like I had said earlier, I would have loved for there to be at least some type of live crowd reaction, but, I guess I can't complain too much. So Sonya Deville decided to up the stakes and said it's a no disqualification match with the loser leaving WWE. So this seems like that this is leading to Sonya Deville taking some time off because of the shit that happened to her, which is fucking traumatizing. I mean, somebody invading the sanctuary of your home, even with the alarms and everything like that he's able to get close enough to try to kidnap you. And especially, and I can only imagine because it said in the report that she didn't know about the threatening messages until the attempted abduction. So I can only imagine he's been sending these threatening messages for over 8 months. I can only imagine all these messages that she's now reading after, having fear for her life. It's just emotionally taxing on her right now, I can imagine. So, it seems like she's going to take some time off, come back to WWE later, and just, emotionally and mentally, kind of take some time off to heal herself that way. We had AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy, which we knew was going to be good. I still don't understand why they didn't put it on SummerSlam. Especially the fact that Jeff Hardy won the damn title. You could have put that match on SummerSlam. This is the first time that they fought each other in WWE, and it's for the title, and you decide to change titles, and you didn't put it on SummerSlam. That's a SummerSlam worthy match. But Jeff Hardy wins the title. Congratulations to him. But I just wish that they had put this on SummerSlam. And then, of course, we had, Sasha Banks and Bayley they were fighting against Naomi 1-on-1. The matches were very short. I mean, Sasha Banks versus Naomi was only 3 minutes and 39 seconds. And then Bayley and Naomi was even shorter than that. And then you had Asuka coming out and attacking them. I don't know I don't know why. I mean, it really, I guess because of everything that's happened to Naomi that she got this type of match, this type of setup. But I don't know. It really didn't serve anything. It really didn't do anything for either woman, I have to say. And then finally we get to the Firefly Funhouse, and then Braun Strowman comes in, starts attacking Bray Wyatt. My thing is, so now to me, I have to say the magic of the Firefly Funhouse is definitely disappeared. This is about, what, the third or fourth time now we had someone looking for Bray Wyatt at the Firefly Funhouse, and they found him backstage or something like that. Whereas though it felt like the Firefly Funhouse was like a magical place far, far away. So the fact that when Braun Strowman started attacking Bray Wyatt and you see him being taken out backstage, it's like, okay, we knew this was taking place in a room backstage, but for them to actually put it out there, the Firefly Funhouse kind of loses its magic. It feels like now it's a studio. It's like a studio in front of a live audience type of situation. So I guess they're going to continue on with this Firefly Funhouse like nothing happened. But Braun Strowman then attacks Bray Wyatt. I think he chokeslams him off of a ledge or something like that in the loading dock or something. Bray Wyatt then has to be taken onto a stretcher, put in an ambulance, and then the ambulance stops. It was like red lights in the back, and then out comes the Fiend, which I thought was really cool. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I feel like the Firefly Funhouse magic is gone because it's backstage now. Where's the magic of it? Where is the sanctuary that is going on in Bray Wyatt's head type situation? Whereas though, I mean, it's going to be revealed that the Abby the Witch and, you know, the Buzzard and the Rabbit are all puppets, and Huskus the Pig. It's going to be revealed that they're all puppets. So let's go into some SummerSlam predictions, shall we? So first up, we have Sonya Deville versus Mandy Rose. No DQ, loser leaves the company. Of course, we're going to go with Sonya Deville here. This is obviously a time for her to take off and to be able to mentally recover from everything that has been going on here. Next up, we have the United States Championship, Apollo Crews versus MVP. And, you know, on paper, you wouldn't think that this feud would be so interesting. But this feud is interesting with the Hurt Business, and now MVP is trying to recruit other people. He is, you know, he's been talking to Cedric Alexander, and I really think that these talks are going to pay off. I'm going to go with MVP on this one. And the reason why I'm going to go with MVP on this one is because I feel like Cedric Alexander is going to turn and he's going to attack Apollo Crews and cause Apollo Crews to lose the match. And I feel that this will lead on to Apollo Crews versus Cedric Alexander, Apollo Crews taking on the Hurt Business, and I think this is going to be a very interesting match on paper. Next up, we have the Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza for the Raw Tag Team Championship. Would love to go with Andrade and Angel Garza. I'm going to officially go with them, but I think with the whole situation of Zelina Vega trying to poison Montez Ford, it's going to be one of those matches where they, fight the good fight and retain their title. I think this could also, because we know we're going to get it. We're going to get some type of double count out or some, no contest type of situation, which this match could very well be. Because I don't know if WWE is ready to take the titles off the Street Profits because of everything that's going on, or not want Andrade and Angel Garza to lose a title match like this. Next up, we have Seth Rollins versus Dominic Mysterio in a street fight. This is going to be the debut of Mini Mysterio, Or if, for all my people out there, Eddie Guerrero's son. I will be reviewing that matchup a little bit later. But this is the debut fight of Dominic Mysterio. And this could very well, no, this is a street fight, so this isn't no disqualification match. Of course, I expect Murphy to interfere. I expect Rey Mysterio to interfere. It'd be really exciting if we get somebody else to come out and interfere. Who knows? I don't know. This could go either way. We could definitely have Seth Rollins win and then continue on the feud between the two. Or we can have little Dominic win. I think this is going to be one of those matches where he wins for his dad, the one who raised him, storyline wise. But I think this is going to be a pretty good match. I think Dominic is going to do everyone proud because there's going to be high expectations for him because he is Rey Mysterio's son. So I will hope that, because he was in that storyline as far as Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero 15 years ago. So I would think him growing up that he has been training this whole time. He looked good when he was doing some wrestling moves, I have to say. But I would think that he would come out and be impressive. So I'm going to go with Dominic on this one, even though it could go Seth Rollins' way, especially with Murphy by his side. Maybe a new disciple will appear at SummerSlam. I expect some type of run-ins. I expect like a debut or some type of new disciple, or like I said earlier, with Cedric Alexander joining the Hurt Business. I expect something along those lines. So now let's go to the SmackDown Women's Championship, Bayley versus Asuka. So, like I had said, I am tired of Bayley and Sasha holding all the titles. I don't think they have yet to defend those tag team titles. They're basically useless. All they are talking, the only reason why they have the tag team titles is just so they can call each other 2-belt Bayley and Dos-belt Sasha, I think she calls herself. And I know I'm going to sound like a complete hypocrite here, because I have complained about it with these two. I complained about it a little bit when it happened with Becky, but I am ready for 2-belt Asuka, I have to say. And I know that is such a hypocrite statement from me, but I wasn't really too upset with when Becky won the 2 belts, because, Becky worked hard. But then after a while, I'm like, okay, Becky needs to drop a belt. Sorry to say. And I'm going to go with Asuka here, because Asuka's my girl. I was upset that she dropped the Raw Women's Championship so quickly. But I'm going to go with the fact that, this is her time. And I think if they just let Asuka do what she does, she could definitely have some good championships. And I think with Asuka winning here, it would definitely continue the feud with Bayley and Sasha. Hopefully, we will get a tag team match out of them, and maybe the Iconics can win it, or maybe Lana and Natalya can win it, that we can get this tag team belt going instead of it just being sitting there. I was going to say collecting dust, but they're both wearing them, but just wearing them as accessories. So I'm going to go with Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And I'm going to do the same with the Raw Women's Championship. I'm going to go with Asuka. Now, I could be completely wrong. Asuka could win both of these damn matches. Even though I will be highly upset if she loses both of these matches. Because it's going to be like, for what? Why? Why do we have 4 titles on 2 women? Or Asuka can win one of the titles. Now, I think they're going to hold off Bayley versus Sasha Banks until they get in front of the live crowd, which I am not mad at. Because this is the turn that it has been slowly building, and I love it. I love when they do slow builds. That makes sense. Where a slow build is done in a timely manner. It's not being dragged out too much. It's not being rushed. But we see the little things of Sasha looking to turn on Bayley. and Bayley become face, and Sasha stays a heel. I'm going to go with Asuka for Sasha Banks versus Asuka. Even though I feel like one of these matches is going to turn into a no contest. These are the two matches that I feel, because we're going to get at least one match that turns into a no contest. And I think it may happen on one of these two matches that we're going to get a no contest for some stupid reason, or we're going to get one help out the other to retain the title. Maybe Bayley retains and then Asuka loses and we get that little bit of conflict between the two women, but that's what I'm going to go with. Then we have Braun Strowman versus The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, for the Universal Championship. I'm going to go with The Fiend here. I think it's time for The Fiend to get the title back, even though he changed Braun Strowman to go bald and acting crazy. And I feel like we're going to get the debut of whatever is going on with Alexa Bliss. I don't think she was at SmackDown because I didn't watch all of it. But I think Alexa Bliss is going to come out with whatever change is happening to her because she is captivated, intrigued by The Fiend. And I think she's going to come out as if to help Braun Strowman, but she's actually going to help The Fiend. And I can't wait to see how the story plays out because, yes, this is something that a lot of people have been waiting for Alexa Bliss, or they was actually thinking of Liv Morgan or even Alexa Bliss to kind of have some type of involvement with The Fiend. And I'm hoping that's what we're going to get here. And then finally, we get the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. Randy Orton is the guy to take the titles off of people. I think this is going to lead to Randy Orton versus Edge for the title. But Randy Orton is always the guy to take titles off of people. I just reviewed Daniel Bryan versus John Cena for the title last week, and Randy Orton took the title off of Daniel Bryan. So I feel as though, unfortunately, it is time for Drew McIntyre to lose the title. This is one of the more exciting feuds that Drew McIntyre had. I've said before, Drew McIntyre kind of suffers from not having fans with him ringside. And I feel like he feeds off the fans. And some people agreed because, his promos isn't exactly up there where it should be. But they said that his in-ring ability is still there, which I kind of agree with, but I feel like he definitely plays off of the crowd. And so I think that Randy Orton is going to win this match. This is going to lead to him fighting against Edge for a title whenever Edge returns. So let's go into some throwbacks. This is the final episode where I'm reviewing past SummerSlam matches. And for this one, these two were suggested by the same person, Keita from the Keita and Jay Show. Definitely check out that show if you haven't already. So the first one has to do with, in 2002, Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. This was a no-holds-barred or street fight. Damn, forgot which one it was. But this started. And I was watching the match, and I'm not 100% sure I saw this fight live, because this was right after the invasion. I was just graduating from high school around this time, so I think I was out and about during the summer. Because I had a little portion of my life where I felt as though I was too cool to watch wrestling. Even though I kept up with it, ironically. But I don't think I saw this feud live. Because this was when WCW was coming in, because we had Eric Bischoff. Was this where we had Eric Bischoff? Maybe I'm thinking of Rey versus Eddie. This was 2002, so I believe this still had The Rock in it. I think The Rock was still there. I think I stopped watching when The Rock left. And I think this was towards the end of that. I think this is actually, you know what? I think I did see this live. Because this was The Rock versus Brock Lesnar SummerSlam. I think I did see this, because this was right around the time where The Rock was leaving because he was so Hollywood. So Hollywood. So the background with this match, we had Shawn Michaels versus, we had Shawn Michaels and Triple H, as DX and everything. And Shawn Michaels was having a back injury for a while. And he comes back, him and Triple H reunited, and then Triple H turns on Shawn Michaels and says that, Shawn Michaels has been using me to stay relevant, and I've been using Shawn Michaels as well. And something I didn't know with this match, Shawn Michaels hasn't wrestled for a while. Apparently the last time he wrestled before SummerSlam 2002 was WrestleMania 14, when he got knocked out by Mike Tyson, which I find that so hard to believe, because I could have sworn he did some. I could have sworn he fought before that. If he fought after that, but I guess not. Going with this match, though, of course, it's Shawn Michaels and Triple H. This match was bloody. They both were bleeding and things like that. But this was a good fight, I have to say. It didn't have as much weapons as it would be. Okay, so this was an unsanctioned street fight. Sorry to say. But it felt like a Extreme Rules match, because we had some chairs, we had a trash can. I don't think we had a kendo stick, if I remember correctly. And we had an attempted sledgehammer. But it was as if Shawn Michaels wasn't gone for wrestling. I mean, it was like he never left. And that's what Shawn Michaels is. He wrestles, he's really good at wrestling. Shawn Michaels comes out with a lot of offense. Then we had Triple H, who then takes over. Shawn Michaels started to bleed from, I think it was a chair shot. Triple H kind of did like this face first DDT on a chair, and that's when Shawn Michaels started to bleed, it actually stopped during the match. And then Shawn Michaels starts attacking Triple H. I think Shawn Michaels, then I think he hit Triple H head with a chair or with a trash can lid to the head, and that's when Triple H started to bleed. And back then, Triple H was pretty tanned. I mean, he tanned the shit out of his skin. And when he bleeds, his skin almost matches the blood. So he would be like so bronze that the blood would look like an accessory on him or something like that, if that makes sense. But they both, kept going through. There was a table, of course, that was introduced. And then towards the end of the match, I really didn't like the finish too much. It was because it was an attempt. It was an attempt of the finisher, and then a roll up. So Shawn Michaels went for sweet chin music, and then Triple H tried to counter with a pedigree, which Shawn Michaels countered, and he did a jackknife roll up to win the match. Triple H then grabs the sledgehammer, attacks Shawn Michaels from behind, and then swings the sledgehammer and hits Shawn Michaels in the back. So Shawn Michaels had to be carried away in a stretcher. The aftermath of this, I forgot what happened after that. I think Shawn Michaels went, of course, to face, Shawn Michaels went to face Triple H after that, and then they fought each other in the first ever Elimination Chamber match, which Shawn Michaels won the World Heavyweight Championship. And this match lasted for about 28 minutes. And it was pretty good, I have to say. It was definitely worth the whole 28 minutes. I'm looking at the times of all the matches, and the match before that was Undertaker versus Test, and that was for 8 minutes, which was like, wow. I'm shocked by that one. So the other SummerSlam In SummerSlam 2005, it was Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio. And this was all about little Dominic. Dominic, I think he was 8 years old at this time. I think that's what it was. And the whole thing about this match was Eddie Guerrero threatened to reveal a secret about Rey Mysterio, about Dominic and Rey Mysterio and him. And Rey Mysterio was able to defeat Eddie Guerrero. I think this was at a previous pay-per-view. And Eddie Guerrero was like, guess what, Rey? You thought I wasn't going to say anything? I lied. And because this is, his theme song back then was I lie, I steal, I cheat, which I always loved that theme music. But Eddie Guerrero was like, guess what, Dominic? I'm your poppy. He didn't say I'm your poppy, but I'm just adding a little bit to it. He says, I'm your dad. And little Dominic goes, is it true, Dad? Dad, is it true? And Rey Mysterio couldn't answer the question. And Eddie Guerrero was like, tell him the truth. And Rey Mysterio was like, it's my son. I raised him. And they decided to fight each other. Because Eddie Guerrero served Rey Mysterio with papers for full custody for his son. And this was also the introduction of Vicky Guerrero. And I don't know, when I was watching SummerSlam, I normally watch the little promos that happen beforehand that's related to the story. And she was backstage with Eddie Guerrero, and I don't know if she was nervous or she was forgetting the lines, but she was sounding like a Stepford housewife or something like that. Like, she was very, robotic and, kind of phony. She was like, you're the love of my life, and I believe in you, and I know that you're going to do, I know you're going to do whatever it takes. And she was like, but this isn't about you. This is about you beating Rey. And he would respond, and then she would say, I love you. And then he said, you don't think that I can win this, stuff like that. Well, this was a ladder match. Custody of Dominic on the line. Briefcase. What did I say? What was I made fun of it and called it something. I forgot, but something on a pole match. Who knows? But yeah, little Dominic was ringside. And I think it was the mom that was with him. I'm not quite sure. Because the whole thing was about little Dominic. But this match between Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, of course, you expect it to be so good. Because the two were good friends. And I always say, whenever two friends have a really good feud against each other, the match is always is good. And of course, there's a few stipulations of, whenever they're friends going against each other. Example, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, I have to say. But this match was pretty good. A lot of springboard moves. We had a spot where, and it was if I remember correctly, it was a scary spot when I heard the backstory of it. There was a spot where Rey Mysterio had the briefcase in his hand and Eddie Guerrero moved the ladder from underneath him. And Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio was hanging up. And Eddie Guerrero grabbed Rey Mysterio's foot to do a power bomb. But it looked like Rey Mysterio's legs weren't able to really rest on Eddie Guerrero's shoulders correctly. So Rey Mysterio kind of just fall down. And it looked pretty good, but it looked like it was a bit dangerous. Then there was a spot where Eddie Guerrero was going up the ladder and little Dominic comes and he starts shaking the ladder. He starts shaking the ladder to try to get Eddie Guerrero's attention. And Eddie Guerrero comes down. He was like, what are you doing? He said, you want me to slap you or hit you or something like that. And little Dominic starts backing up. And then Rey Mysterio then comes, attacks Eddie Guerrero, hits him with the 619, and goes to grab the briefcase. And then Eddie Guerrero stops him. He does the three amigos onto a ladder. And then he goes up the ladder, but then Vicky Guerrero comes down and pushes down the ladder. And she holds on to Eddie as Rey goes up and retrieves the briefcase. And now he has full custody of Eddie Guerrero's son, Little Dominic. And now Little Dominic is a grown-ass man about to fight his own SummerSlam match. And I feel as though this was the perfect SummerSlam match to review because it has a connection to this SummerSlam, which I think was so cool. This match between Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero lasts for 20 minutes. It was a very exciting match. Of course, Eddie Guerrero, God bless his soul, was so good. He was good with any type of feud that he was involved with. After this, Rey Mysterio runs off to the sunset with custody of Little Dominic. Eddie Guerrero then starts to feud with Batista. He was given a title match at No Mercy after that, and the two, Eddie Guerrero and Batista, became friends. But the storyline then ends because Eddie Guerrero passed away that November. So this was the last SummerSlam that Eddie Guerrero performed at. And this was a good storyline that between him and Rey Mysterio. Of course, that January 2006, Eddie Guerrero won the Royal Rumble and then goes on to win the championship in honor of Eddie Guerrero. Rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero. I always loved Eddie Guerrero, his matches. I loved when he was feuding with Rey Mysterio. I loved it when he was with Mamacita Chyna, who he is reunited with in heaven. Them having their fun up in the sky. And I'm hoping that SummerSlam this year will definitely do justice. It's going to take place with the Thunderdome, where we have the fans and the basic crowd sound from 2K. But I feel like some matches could have definitely been added in. Like I said, Styles versus Jeff Hardy could have been added in. We still seem to have a feud between Matt Riddle and Baron Corbin. Who knows if that will get announced to be added in for a pre-show or something like that. We'll see. But that's it for the WrestleBread podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Jaydee Talks. That's JAYDE Talks. Follow the podcast too at WrestleBread. Be sure to check out my friends Julie and Rob Bass from the Wrestling Court Podcast and UnturnedMinds.com. Keita and Jay from the Keita and Jay Show. Check out Chris on We Talk Next podcast that is associated with Keita and Jay Show. Dando and Larry for Half K Podcast, and Devin Hafiz from Clark Street Wrestling. So next week, I said last episode that I may have to go into work early the day after SummerSlam, and I do, but I get out a little early, hopefully. But your girl's tired. I keep telling you guys how I've been working all these hours. Friday, I worked 12 hours. Your girl is tired. So I'm definitely going to try to knock out a review of AEW Dynamite, NXT Takeover, SummerSlam, and hopefully I get it out early next week. I'm going to try my best because, like I said, your girl is tired. Your girl is tired. Your girl is stressed from work. So definitely hop on Twitter. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your predictions of SummerSlam and NXT Takeover. Is Pat McAfee going to get his ass kicked? That's the big story of NXT Takeover. And what is going to happen with The Fiend and Alexa Bliss. So I'm going to get some rest. I actually am recording before I have to go to work. So let me get going and get my day started. And I hope you enjoy your weekend. I hope you enjoy SummerSlam weekend. I will be tweeting live with both shows. So definitely follow me, check me out, talk to me. Talk to me, please, because I'm tired. So until next time, guys, peace.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Check us out at WrestleBread.com and subscribe to WrestleBread on YouTube for more breaking news and JD's opinions.